Shabbat Shalom. I have been asked by many to show how I make my challah bread. And challah bread is a traditional bread that many Jewish women or men, many Jewish families make to welcome in Shabbat. So that's going to be on Friday night. And I try to make it once a week at least. Sometimes I make it several times a week. But it is always very good and it's very easy. So I'm just gonna show you all the steps of it. But first what we're gonna do is combine everything. So if you can, first we take very, 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 very hot water. By the way, I'll be posting all of this in the comments below. And then you take 1 tablespoon of rapid rising yeast. So that goes in there just like that. And then just 1 egg. Okay, I'm gonna start my blender. I use a dough hook and I'm gonna put it on stir. It just makes it easy. And then you're gonna use 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then I use this same cup for 1/4 cup of honey. So you're going to use 1/4 cup of honey. Okay. And it slides out real easy if you put the oil in first. See that? Isn't that pretty? All right, there we go. All right, and then you take a teaspoon of salt. Okay, that all gets mixed in there. Then you're gonna add your flour, and you add 3 3/4 cup of flour. Now, this is very important. When you are putting the flour in, you don't just plop it in like that. That packs it down. You don't wanna do that. You just wanna set it in. Set it in real nice, just like that. And I am not all that precise, but there you go. That's 1 cup. And keep in mind that when you're going to knead it, you're going to be adding more flour anyway. So we need to do 3 3/4 cup. And last one. Now, that's about 3/4 to me. All right, so if you can show, here is, the goal is to get the dough kind of to a ball that takes all the flour off the sides, and I just let it all work together. I'm gonna move it up 1. It's starting to incorporate all the flour. See, it's grabbing it all, and it saves my arm, so especially when you're making more than 1 loaf, it works out really, really well. It's almost got it. It's grabbing it all off the sides. See there? Beautiful. Okay, so you've got a nice ball there. It's grabbing everything off the sides. All right, you're done. Now, what you do, let me get something to put it in. Okay, you don't have to spray. You don't have to, nothing. You just take, I'll use this spoon. You just take all the dough, because now it is going to rise for 30 minutes. Okay, and I just scrape it all in here like this. There. Now that's what it's gonna look like, and you're gonna cover it. Come on this over, or this way. You're gonna cover it with a cloth, and I made one beforehand too, because I'm making 2 loaves. And this is what it's gonna rise to. So look, it starts here and it goes to that. And then you're going to knead it out. I can show you that really quick too. And I just use regular all-purpose flour, just the basic flour. Okay, so I just use this so it doesn't mess up my whole countertop. And then it's going to be this consistency. Okay. I sprinkle a little bit more flour on top because you're not going to need much. It's already good. And you're going to incorporate it just a little bit. Knead it just a little. So it's not sticky. And I don't like to make mine too dry because I want it nice and soft in the middle. Okay, and I spread it out. It's almost like you're massaging it because it had a hard day. Haha. Okay. All right, the goal is to make it a rectangle. That's your goal. And we'll do that in just a minute. I'll take you back to that point. So we'll go ahead and stop the video and we'll come back to that. Okay, so we're getting to a point now where we're at a rectangle. And I use a rolling pin to kind of help. Again, you've got your, if you're making more than one loaf, your arm's going to get really tired. Okay, so it's, see how pretty? You want to do it just like that. A nice rectangle. Okay, here's the trick. Pizza cutter. Pizza cutter is great. And you're going to want to make 6 strips because we're going to braid in 6. Now, I have friends that they go up the middle, but I always start here, but we'll start at the end. So there's 1, and I try to move it around on the flour so that I know it's going to be loose and I can braid it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now I use the same thing. You want it stretched out a little. You want them all the same length if you can. Some of them are going to be thicker than others. That's okay. This is the Landra way. We're not doing it so perfect. Everybody's going to love it anyway, so it doesn't matter all that much. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your far left and you're going to place it on top and top and top. 3, okay? Then you're going to do the same thing. Top, top, top. Then I bring them all together and I squish them. Okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your far right and you're going to pull it over like this. We're braiding 6 now. Your far left and bring it over. You're going to separate these out a little bit. You're going to bring this back over. Now you're working with your far right again. It's going this way. Far right goes in the middle. You're going back toward the middle every time. See there? Far right over, this one goes to the middle. Far left over, this one goes to the middle. Far right over, this one goes to the middle. Far left over, this one goes to the middle. Far right over, this one goes to the middle. Okay, we've gotten to the bottom here. We can't really go much further. So what you do is you tuck it. See there? You're just tucking it under and you're going to make sure that it stays in place. The top part you're going to tuck too. See there? Okay. Now this is going to be transferred over to a cookie sheet, a floured cookie sheet. And then it's going to rise for 30 more minutes. So before this was out, it rose for 30 minutes. We kneaded it, braided it. We're going to let it rise for 30 more minutes again. And then we're going to put some egg on it, salt, and bake it. And I'll walk you through that too. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, so what we've done now, you see it rose. I don't know if it doubled in size, but it rose a good amount. And this is just 1 egg. And I've mixed it and I'm using with a pacer brush and we're just brushing it on top. Try not to press it so that it doesn't crush the loaf. But you want to cover every bit of it. And if you see my cookie sheet, this is just flour. This is all, and it's just flour. So I covered that all with flour. There's no oil. Don't put any oil on it. Just don't. And use flour. Oh, by the way, when I was listening to the video, I noticed, I was telling you not to stack your flour or push your flour down, and then I was loose in my measuring. So do what I say, don't do what I do. Anyway, it works out. Okay, so I thought that was kind of funny. But here you go. You're almost done covering the whole thing. And then what we're gonna do is top it with about a teaspoon of kosher salt. Oh, by the way, it only takes a half of an egg, so I use this other half for the other egg that I'm getting ready to braid. Okay, so the salt, this is kosher salt. So about a teaspoon, and I just sprinkle it all over. And really, this makes it. This makes the bread, and this is symbolic of the salt that was put on the offerings. They added salt to the offerings, salt and other spices. So anyway, it's just symbolic. Okay, that's too much salt, so let me throw this out. Okay. So maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, and I've had my oven preheating to 350. So we're gonna put it in, and it is going to bake for 28 to 30, maybe 31 minutes. Okay, and I'll show you what it looks like after. The bread has been cooking for about 31 minutes, maybe 32, and it's ready to come out. So, there it is. Isn't that pretty?
Looks good.
Good. Okay, we're gonna put the other one in. This is the other one that we were making. Okay. I started at 20 just so I can check it. Okay, so I'm just gonna take it right off the pan because this is a stone pan. You might get a little closer, babe. Anyway, so it doesn't keep cooking. Now it will cook just a little bit more as it's heating up, but it's done. It's ready to go, and I kind of tested it. If it sounds hollow, it's ready to go. Now the last part that I do is I make a honey butter. So come over this way. All right, and this is made, of course they add honey to the challah for a sweet Shabbat, to remind you to have a sweet Shabbat. But this pretty well guarantees it. So you start with a stick of butter, and you add about a teaspoon of cinnamon. Not a lot. Okay. And then this is going to be about 2 tablespoons of honey. Okay, we're drizzling it on there. And then here is just vanilla. And I use about a teaspoon of vanilla in there. Okay. All right, and just mix it up real good. It is amazing, amazing, amazing. I also got this recipe from my friend, and she likely got it from the woman who gave her the bread recipe. So I will list all of that in the comment section. And I did, melt the butter just a little bit to make it soft. But it's super awesome. Okay, and you leave some butter chunks in there just for fun. Okay, and then I have a cup that I'm going to put it in. Okay. to get all of it on there, because they'll scrape the bottom clean. And then what I do just for fun, because I can, is I just drizzle a little more honey on there. Okay, and that is it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy your challah, and Shabbat Shalom.